Hey y'all, it's Nathan from Bronx River Alliance and the Foodway. I'm reporting live from Concrete Plant Park, right at the corner of Westchester and Whitlock Avenue. As you can see over here, this is Westchester Avenue below the 6 train. As Loving the Bronx, Nilka says, the Roaring 6. But welcome to the Foodway. If you've never been here, check it out. This is Concrete Plant Park. So it used to be a factory. This used to be a concrete factory. It was shut down in the late 80s. And really through community grassroots support, really led by young people, this park was transformed in early 2009 into what we're seeing now. The Foodway project was a later project in the process, around 2017, started getting built, really through community participation, through leaders from organizations at The Point, Youth Ministries for Peace and Justice. But the original reason people wanted to access the park, young people wanted to access the park, was to the river. So this is one of our favorite locations to launch our canoes down at the southern section of the park. So we'll see more of that. But here, I'm gonna spend the next 20 to 30 minutes chatting with you about what's growing at the Foodway. Do a little kind of like forage hunt. We can kind of see what's going on. But for those who have never been here, the Foodway is broken up into 3 sections. We have a northern section, which we consider the food forest. So that's what this section is. And you can actually start seeing some of the trees, part of our orchard. So these are pear trees. And look at those little baby leaves coming out, full of pollen. And on the ground, you're gonna start seeing daffodils, of course. But you'll start to see some plants that may be familiar to you. This is mugwort. Many people know mugwort. So check that out. This is edible. It is a medicinal. To many gardeners, we will claim that this is an invasive, aggressive plant. It will take over backyards and front yards. But you can make a nice tea from this. You can also cook with it. It's a Chinese medicinal. It came from China originally. And it's wonderful for your immune system. This is a good plant to be ingesting now, but definitely not a plant you want to be putting in the ground. It will spread aggressively. As you can see, it's all over. So I'm really taking my time pulling it out. That's been my big spring task out here. But this section we consider the medicinal garden. So we'll plant some annuals here that are mostly medicinal plants, and we can explore that later this year. But here's some St. John's wort, great for relieving depression. This is the medicinal variety. There's also a shrubby variety, which is back here. Beautiful flowers, really big buttercup flowers we'll start to see in June. But it's a medicinal, great for relieving depression. Feels like we're in May. So everything's still bare, right? But these are fragrant sumac, tons of medicinal properties. As we enter this section by the walkway and the sign. These are, down here is bergamot, but you can't see the bergamot because it's covered by this classic spring ephemeral. It shows up every spring. We call it chickweed. And you can actually eat this. This is just a weed. I'm gonna be pulling this out. So for all my foragers, come and harvest it now, please, before I take care of it. This is bergamot. This is actually what it looks like as it comes up. So bergamot's famous for Earl Grey tea. Really good for you. It's delicious. It's related to mint. You know it's related to mint because of its square stem. Can you tell the square stem? There we go. So that's a mint family member. We'll see some more in a bit. You can make your own Earl Grey tea with that, which is awesome. Over here is one of my favorites. This is mountain mint. We've got about 5 to 7 varieties of mint here in the park. I'm trying to remember. I always do 5 to 7 because I'm like, I think we've got 7. But yeah, come on out. I would definitely keep your 6 feet. We're not encouraging people to come out all together. But this mint is, like I said, mountain mint. It's delicious. So good. Right by the sign, right by the entrance at Westchester and Whitlock. And you can come out. I would definitely wash this stuff. You know, dogs do run through here. But it's delicious stuff. It's really healthy. It's good nutrients. The soil is clean. I mentioned this was a factory. Concrete Plant Park was a factory. It's clean soil. So it's safe for considering to eat. Dandelions, we can see down here. Look at that. They're beautiful. First food for bees. And then we saw bees the other day pollinating some fruit trees. But great for cleaning out your system. Really good for your liver. Both the leaves and the flower are good for detox, the root especially, good for skin as well. So this is all in that first kind of when you walk in. Over here, sweet fern. This shrub is amazing. So what's cool about this plant, it's a survival plant, sweet fern. Really great in case you get caught out in a rainstorm and you need kindling to start a fire. This is like a survival plant. You can actually find the leaves attached to the plant and they're dry. Even after a rainstorm, can you hear? Yeah, and so it's dry and that makes it really great for kindling. And it's high in oils, so it lights right up and it smells like lemon, which is really cool. It's got like this nice lemony smell. We're starting to see anise hyssop show up. We've got 2 varieties, like that golden and then more of a green leafed. Look at that mugwort. So by that sweet fern right there, you're gonna see something called cleaver. One of our Concrete Friends member Journey loves cleaver. She cooks it up, sautés it with like some oil, and it's a great little vegetable. So yeah, this is definitely a spring garden in need of maintenance. So if you want to lend a hand and pull some mugwort, I encourage you to come on down and pull some mugwort. Look at all of that mugwort. And also the cleaver. We're gonna have to take that out soon. So come down, get your bellies full of some good spring crop, get some mint tea. I wanna stop here for a second and just take a look at these beautiful silver berries. These are part of our northern bayberries. Northern bayberries are the relatives of the Caribbean bayberry that gives us that delicious leaf for our soups and stews. These are actually some edible leaves right here, but you can put them in any of your dishes to add flavor, which is super stellar. So these are northern bayberries. You can find them throughout the foodway. They're familiar with those silverberries, which can be melted down into wax. So it's a vegan source of wax. Super cool. Birds love them. They eat them, but humans love them because they smell good. Back when the colonizers were here, bathing was not a common ritual, so they would burn these candles made of bayberry, and it smelled really nice and made everyone a lot happier. This area by the bayberry is right here. So if you're looking this way, this section right here, you can often find jewelweed. So jewelweed is a great antidote for poison ivy. So if you have poison ivy, you can find jewelweed. I'll do a later video, another week, so you can check that out. This is Yucca. This is a native variety. What's cool about this plant, we decided to plant some this year because we want to do some things with natural fibers, because you can actually make like not string, but like almost like jute from those. And this middle section is our pollinator section. So this is where we're going to find a lot of our medicinals. Things like this guy who's coming up right now. This is echinacea. Echinacea is super great for that immune boosting power. So I definitely encourage you, if you want to come out here, and actually I'm allowing folks, if you want to just dig up a small piece of this plant, you can make a tincture, take the leaves, put it in some like basically pretty bad quality alcohol, some pretty rough alcohol, and it'll strip all the good stuff from the plant into that alcohol, and you can take it in small dosage under your tongue, or even swallow it, and you won't get drunk, but you'll get all the good qualities from it by making a tincture. This is dead nettle. I showed dead nettle, I think, last week. It's actually not related to stinging nettle. I learned that, and I rescind my comment last week. But dead nettle is dead. It does not sting. That's why it's called dead nettle. And it's related to mint, like the square stem. So that's kind of cool. This is a great one to make like a tea from. It has tons of nutrients to get you going in the spring. So in the winter, when our bodies are lethargic, we really struggle. And what's cool about this is this dead nettle provides like this boost of energy, macro and micronutrients that will really help you out. So that's a good one. And that's all growing below our chestnut trees, which is super cool. How many people have chestnuts? A tree that's basically extinct. It's being brought back by a hybridization with a Chinese variety. So we're super fortunate to have this. And chestnuts, beyond their amazing ability to provide such high calorie, great food for our communities, including our are creatures like squirrels and things that love and really thrived off chestnuts when they were a keystone species in our forests. When they were lost in the early 1900s, the turn of the century, due to a blight that completely just destroyed them. It was a blight, a disease that went through the bark. But this is our Chestnut Grove. And what's really amazing medicinally, when you have that whooping cough, when you have that really bad cough, chestnut is great. The chestnut leaves are great for a tea. So when these come back, and even if you want to try to grab some of these last remaining leaves from this food forest here at Concrete Plant Park in the Foodway, I encourage you to come on out. So you can definitely see more dead nettle below this grove, and in between you'll find witch hazel. So these are baby witch hazel, and they're coming back from their first winter in the park. So we're again at the Foodway at Concrete Plant Park, and I am gonna be full transparent in saying that my phone battery is running low. And so I'm gonna kind of do this as much as I can until I run out. But we can always pick up on another day. We're super fortunate to be out here in this beautiful weather. If you do come out to the park, I encourage you to keep 6 feet distance, but come out with a bag and forage for some goodies. So this is where all of our other mints are. So this is our chocolate mint down here. It's beautiful, green and red, delicious in tea. It's just coming up. You can even take a little chunk and plant some in water and have your own. This is some creeping thyme, super amazing. We love our creeping thyme. And then over here, you're gonna see our apple mint. Look at that beautiful leaf. Leaves that are silvery and fuzzy like that mean they're drought tolerant. They hold on to moisture that way. They're also super cute and fuzzy. Kids love them, great for teaching. Over there, you'll see some lambs ear right there. That's also fuzzy, really great. Maria, you gotta come out and get some mint. Community food action, come on out. So check out the mint that's growing here below these fig trees. So these are stumps from figs that will come back this season. And this is our little chive section. Check out these chives, looking all jive. So these little guys can be chopped. You can just take scissors and give them a little haircut, just like that. And you can use the chives, and I love them in eggs. But onions are really good for cleaning out your body. We can't forget that. As well as berries. Uh-oh, looks like one of my chives went missing. Oh well, that's perks of an open, no fence here, right? And that's important. You know, people must be able to access food, and we build in redundancy. That doesn't mean destroy the foodway, but it does mean if you really need this food, I'm gonna allow you to take it, right? This is our berry walk. So this section over here, as you stroll by, you're gonna see a little bridge. This whole system is basically, it's a giant sponge that holds water. The foodway itself is built up from a hard pan of concrete below us. So we're built on top of concrete and soil, new soil, clean soil, and we are absorbing water through rain events, and we let go of that water through these dry riverbeds during extra rainy events, and it gets held in a bioswale over there. So this system really acts as a great piece of green infrastructure. And over here, where we start to see this dry riverbed, you'll see our berry walk. So this is like a really exciting spot for June, July, and August. This is where people flock to and have really been exploring. These guys are serviceberries, and serviceberries, if you don't know them, Google them. They're amazing. They're a popular crop in our parks. They're great horticulture plants, but they taste like blueberries. And so like the whole tree will just kind of like, because they're full of blueberries. This is a great one. Speaking of blueberries, you'll start to see our blueberries coming out. Those are the flowers, check them out. So they're starting to show up. And they look like little bells when they show up, which is really quite sweet. So these are all serviceberries, and as we cross this bridge, we'll start to see our gooseberries. These are spiky, so watch out for their thorns. Raspberries. Find our raspberries over here. And then this is our orchard, where you'll find some cherry trees yet to bloom. Look at that. They're just about to open up with their first leaves and flowers. But look at our peaches. It's so interesting. Our peaches have bloomed before our cherries. Look at that. They're so beautiful. Could have fooled me. I thought you were a cherry. So this is our little orchard. And as you walk through here, you'll see two different varieties of raspberries. These on the left are going to be white raspberries, and they're really sweet. These on the right are, oh, not over here, actually over there, are red raspberries. And those are the classic ones we see in the grocery store. And they've been producing and producing. So it's a great time to come out here in August. You can find blueberries and raspberries still hanging on. Pretty awesome. These last trees over here are our apple trees. And we're really excited. I mean, these are young trees, right? So they're not going to be producing tons and tons of apples, or any of our fruit trees for that matter aren't going to be producing tons and tons. Only a few. So it usually takes about 5 years for fruit trees to get going. They actually say you're supposed to bump off the flowers the first couple seasons so that the plant can store up energy to have a bumper crop that first season. Oh my God, white raspberry is my rap name. Really, Lovey? That's great. So back here's a special plant I want to highlight for a moment for us, going through what we're going through as a society. These are our elderberries, and I always think it's very poetic that they're called elderberries because they really do heal. They're antiviral. So this is a plant. You would take the berries when they produce in July, I think, August. You can make a syrup from them. Don't eat the berries directly, but make a syrup. Once they're processed, they're safe for our body. However, the flowers, which come out, in a month or so, or 2 months probably, those flowers are actually edible directly, so you could eat those. But it's antiviral elderberries, and so this is where our elderberries live. And we have a couple others that are baby that are scattered about, but these are some good ones, and they're important. I mentioned they're called elderberries, and our elders teach us so much in our communities, and these elderberries have taught us so much, especially in this time, with the virus. So let's think about that. And below you'll find some cleaver for folks who wanted to try out some cleaver. Like I said, you can cook this up. This is sticky. I used to call this sticky grass as a kid. Grass is cool. You can cook it up, saute it with some butter or oil or whatever, and it's high in vitamins, and it's really good for you. Spring ephemerals are really good for you for cleaning out your body. This is our swale, our bioswale, and it's holding water. So if I dig down through the rocks, you'll actually see water probably. What's exciting is we are starting to see our chamomile. This is actually probably pineapple weed, which is a relative, but we're starting to see our chamomile, which is really exciting. So on this hill, you'll start to see strawberries showing up. We'll see what's survived from last season. But this is our food forest. This is the fourth year. We're going into our 4th year. I encourage you guys safely to come out to the Foodway, come out to Concrete Plant Park, check out the Foodway. Signage is coming. More tutorials are coming. I think Mondays are going to be our day to connect and see what updates are happening here. You can catch me on Instagram through the Bronx River Alliance's page. Right here, I'll be streaming live from the park if the weather's nice. Other than that, I'll probably be streaming live from my apartment, sharing some fun tips, showing you some progress reports on the seedlings. I'll post some progress reports next week, but we're excited. We had started a lot of seedlings, right? So let's see what they're looking like, and feel free to share your seedlings. I would love to see what you're growing during this time of self-isolation. Would love to see some photos. You can hashtag Bronx River, hashtag Bronx River Foodway. But yeah, or just DM us, shoot the video, the pictures directly to our Instagram. One of us behind the scenes will say hello. But as you can see, I mentioned earlier, this is all chickweed. I'm gonna have to remove this because it's just suffocating everything that's growing underneath, but this is edible. So it does pain me to throw it away, but it will be composted beside our dead nettle. And this is the northern part of the Foodway, our food forest. Yes, we planted daffodils last year. Fun fact as I'm walking by, these are seed pods made from sweet fern. We call them catkins. Let's see if I can actually focus on it. It's not wanting to, but catkins are a type of seed pod. Pretty cool. I also would love to show you a praying mantis casing if I can. There it is. So if you've never seen a praying mantis casing, there we go. Look at that beauty. There's, I think, like 300 little praying mantis inside that will hatch out. They'll come out and they will spread. Many of them will eat each other. It's a crazy race of life, but that is a praying mantis casing. It's among bergamot. And so I've noticed bergamot is a host plant for butterflies and other things. This is bergamot down here. And the sweet fern too has been a host plant, especially for, there's another casing, look at that, especially for praying mantis. It's so cool. So if you do come out here, please be kind. Do not destroy these casings. These are lives. So I'm reporting live from Concrete Plant Park. Check out Bronx River Alliance page. Stay tuned for more. You can hear the Roaring Six pass by. And definitely be kind to yourself, be kind to others, take some time. And if you're able to escape, come visit Concrete. You can find out more information by going to bronxriver.org/foodway, where you can find a complete list of the plants growing here at Concrete Plant Park, as well as some curriculum and other things. So stay tuned. I'll be back next Monday. Bye, y'all.